Hey guys, this is Ryan from RD Arts, and today we're going to go over some music production tips. So me being a beginner, intermediate production recording guy myself, I've definitely spent hours like everybody else on YouTube and everywhere else on Reddit, subreddits, stuff like that, looking for tips and tricks on recording. But the one video I've never really come across, or at least is pretty rare, is, hey, where do we start? What's the first page of the book look like? After we've recorded everything and spent hours making sure we didn't miss a note, what's next, right? What do we do when we open up our DAW? So I have 7 tips that I keep on my computer here. We'll reference them. And it's kind of a cheat sheet just to keep me reminded. But this is not going to end your mix. So this is just to get your mix started so you can hear things better. You can start to make moves that you want to make and not just kind of be stuck not knowing what to start with. So our first step is going to be color coding and arranging tracks, right? So in your DAW, in most DAWs, and you're going to hear that thrown around, DAW or DAW. Sorry about that. My ear is very itchy today. The most DAWs run a color-coded system, and or at least have a color coding option. I'm going to say run a color coded system, but have a color coded option. And I run Presonus Studio One 6 right now, and I've been a Studio One user forever. But they offer, you can color code your tracks. So what I like to do is take all my drums, maybe make them all red. And then maybe take all the guitars and make them all yellow or something like that. It doesn't really matter the color. It doesn't, it's up to you. It just to signify and kind of, so compartmentalize where everything is when you're scrolling up and down your tracks. As you see here in this mix, this project that I've been sent, I haven't done anything to it. So as you see, it's very uncolor coded. It looks like the rainbow. It's set. It is just a mess right now, right? And so that would be something that I would start with, is by just listening to the track, soloing out the tracks, and then maybe color coding them. And then within that same situation, I would be naming the tracks, right? So with this, in this project, you can't really see, I don't think, but they're named after the microphones they were recorded with. And so now I've got to go through and listen to each track and basically name each microphone track what I need it to be named, because SM57 means nothing to me. But guitar 1 or guitar left means a lot more. So that would be something that I would I would tell you to do is while you're color coding, definitely get around naming your tracks. Definitely make sure you're naming your tracks. And then after you're done naming your tracks, you want to get into bussing, right? Now, bussing is different from just grouping everything together, right? Bussing is part of the mixing process. Now, if I were to go into my mix, let's just say, for example, out of this project, you're mixing just 2 acoustic guitars and a singer. Now, with that, you would bus your 2 guitars together so you could control the volume of both guitars at the same time. Now, that doesn't mean you can't control the volume within that bus, right? So you would be able to blend your guitars together. But what a bus does is it gives you an overall volume of a multiple array of tracks. So again, what you would do is you would bus maybe all your drums together, or maybe just your toms together, or you would bus, mainly a lot of people bus all your guitars together. After you've blended your guitars up, a lot of people bus the guitars. So there's that. So yeah, and then the next step, I don't mean to get weird. So the next step is doing a static mix. Okay, so what's a static mix? A static mix is no plugins, right? A static mix to me is panning and volume. That's it, right? Now, when you decide to do a stereo track in any DAW, the track is stereo, yes, and you're going to get that stereo effect, but you're not going to get that stereo effect until you pan your left and right guitars left and right. Then you're going to get that stereo widened effect, and it's just going to, the song's going to come to life before you even start adding any plugins to it. The goal here is to make the song not clip, right, by just using volume and your panning. That's it. Maybe even getting into gain staging and maybe adjusting the gain knob a little bit on your faders instead of using the faders if you have that option in your console. But the full goal of step 2 of a static mix is to be able to play the song all the way through without getting a clip. And clipping means that you haven't gone over 0 dB. That's what clipping is. If you hear that, you're going to hear that a lot in mixing and mastering. You definitely do not want clipping to happen within your song. That means that the song is distorting over the 0 dB mark, and it's not a good sound. Not a good sound. It's almost like someone's kind of just screaming in your ear. So yeah. So on to step 3. And I'm not going to make any examples. I'm just walking through this video real quick. I want to make it quick. The one thing I've seen is a lot of guys make these videos so long and they're drawn out. So step 3, at this point, we're going to fix any minor problems within the song. So adding an EQ, but we're only going to do low and high pass filters. And what a low and a high pass filter is very self-explanatory. It's when you cut the low end or the high end off of a signal, right? So on guitars and bass guitar, maybe bass drums, you're going to go in and do like a low end cut at a certain point. And now this is something that low end cut is something that it's totally up to you, right? But you are going to start by just a low end cut and high end cuts on certain things. Maybe you're going to put high end cuts on your overhead cymbals. That's sometimes a good idea. Or putting a high end cut on your guitar. Maybe putting a high and low end cut on the guitars, depending on what the situation may call for. But at this point, we have got the song going through, right? And the song's going to go through without clipping. So now we want to add that high and low pass filter. And what we're trying to accomplish is getting the annoyances out, right? Just kind of rounding out that song, maybe taking away a couple of dBs that we can use later on, maybe lowering the volume, because you're going to notice when you EQ and you take away certain things, you're going to take away dB as well, so you're going to take away some volume as well. So on to the next step, and again, to make this very quick, to the next step, after you've added all your low and high pass filters, just listen to the song over again and see where you're at. Listen to it again and again, 2 or 3 times if you have to. Take a break after the first run through. Come back. Maybe it's break time. You know what I mean? That's one thing you're going to hear a lot too, is take frequent breaks. Make sure your ears aren't bleeding out, because and one thing I'll tell you is coming back to a problem solves a problem. When you're struggling with something or there's a sound in there you're not really getting, take a break and then come back. It'll solve that problem. I can almost guarantee you'll figure out what the issue is. So step 5, is at this point we're going to adjust any in-use EQs, right? So any EQs that you do have on your buses, now it's time to go in and we're going to look for unwanted frequencies, right? So any frequencies that are high pitched, we've already got our high and low passes set, right? So it's not rumbling and we're not screaming out the high end, right? But now the song, there's a hiss somewhere, or there's a whistle that you can hear, or we're just looking for unwanted frequencies. And what you're going to do is you're going to use sometimes the Q on your, or the knee, sometimes it's referred to, on your EQ, and that's going to thin out and take the sweep away from your EQ a little bit, so that'll make you can pinpoint your EQ. Again, I'm not using any examples. I'm trying to make this quick. You can find all this on YouTube, and if you have any other questions, you can always leave a comment in my video section, and I will definitely get back to you as soon as I can. So anyway, on to that next step is do another static mix, but with all the EQ moves, right? No other plugins, just the EQ moves, right? So all we're doing is at this point is we're trying to get this song to sound the best we can with all the panning we've done, the volume and blending that we've done, and now we've done high and low pass filters. We've taken the rumble, the unwanted bass sound out. We've taken the high end, the just stuff we don't need up there. And now we're pinpointing certain things. Take a listen to the whole song as a track, because sometimes you take out a sound, you don't realize what it's doing to the rest of the song. So that's something that you want to do, is take another static listen to the song. And then again, just repeat 4 through 7. So repeat, listen to that song again, adjust any in-use EQs, do the static mix all over again, right? That is it in a nutshell, guys. So again, let's take an overview real quick. First step is we're going to arrange those tracks, right? We're going to color code them and name them up. Make sure that they're named something that are reference to what you can get, not SM57 or whatever any other microphone name is at that time. And again, color coding, huge. If you can color code, color code. And then do a static mix. Step 2, do a static mix. Static mix with no EQs, no plugins, no nothing. All we're doing is panning our guitars left and right. We're panning our toms, maybe 25, 50, 75 to 100. I don't know how you want to pan them. Maybe we're panning our overheads, right? We're just bringing the song to life without even using any plugins. And that's the great part. Step 3 is fix any minor problems. So again, now we're going to go in and we're going to add EQs, but we're not making any big moves. You're adding just little high and low pass filters. You're taking the rumble off the bass. You're taking the rumble off the guitar. It doesn't need to be there during the chugging sections. And if you know how to use dynamic EQ, go for it, because it's the more power to you to use dynamic EQ during certain things. Maybe during a chugging part, it's just getting a little bassy, but you don't want to take the bass out of the rest of the guitar. There it is, right there, dynamic EQ for the rescue. Step 4, listen to the song. Again, we're going to listen to that song. I want you to, the more you listen to the song with all of the tracks, the better. Right, and the more a lot of people say, you can get away with adjusting things individually. I like to mix and add plugins and kind of adjust plugins while the mix is going as a full track. I feel like you can get a better hear for it of what the overall sound is. That doesn't mean I don't solo out a track and EQ it and do things to it, but I like to make my big moves when the overall happens, when I'm listening to the song as an overall. Step 5, step 6, step 7, adjust the in-use EQs, do another static listen. So again, this time we're pinpointing different frequencies that we are hearing. When you solo out a guitar track, maybe you're hearing a whistle or a hiss or something that maybe you can EQ out. That's where you can get in there and maybe do a pinpointed EQ section and get that taken care of. And then after that, now once you have rinsed and repeated this and you're happy with the sound, and you can make a great sound happen with just EQs. Once you think it's good to go, then you can start adding your plugins, your reverbs, and your fun stuff, right? That's when I like to add in all the cool stuff that I've paid for. So, yeah. So those are my starting tips to how to get a mix started. Now, again, this isn't to end your mix. This is just to kind of get the job going, get the juices going, get the job flowing, right? So if you have any other questions, you can always get a hold of me. through my YouTube page, and you can leave a comment in my video section, and I will definitely get back to you. I have been doing this for a little while, and again, I didn't think I was seeing the right videos, and I wanted to make a quick video on how to get started. So anyway, I'm Ryan from Arty Arts. You guys all have an awesome day. Take a look at my description section. I have some links down in there. My music is now hitting up on Spotify, which is great. So if you get a minute, check out Arty Arts on Spotify. Yeah, you guys have a good one.